Alright, welcome back to my 3-part 40-minute special on how to make a bucket lid that only consists of 2 circles. You know what though, I really do appreciate it if you're actually watching this. I mean, that's great. Okay, compass, a bar compass, beam compass. I would love to talk about it in more detail, but I'm not going to. Wonderful instrument, and someday in the future I would like to explain more about it. But for now, our purpose is simple. We have 2 circles. One's 11 3/16, and one is 12 3/16. In order to maximize my precision in this case, I put my little Dremel point in the indentation on 1. And it's nice to have a steel rule that has the little scratched in numbers for this. And half of 12 3/16 would be 6 3/32. And it looks like I'm right on. If you remember, during the glue up, I'd drawn the circle before, and it has to be spaced between this point, and this point. So is there a really simple, elegant approach to finding that point? I don't know. But I know that that point is between those marks somewhere. Now for my reduced circle, it has a 1 inch smaller diameter in total. Well, that goofy noise means that it's bandsaw adjustment time. That's the thing that nobody tells you if you don't own a bandsaw. There's a lot of maintenance involved. So we will return to the project after this short musical interlude. There, that's better. But what I could use is a new blade. Continuity, an unbroken connection or sequence. So if something is continuous, it is continuing without interruption. And of course we have the much more complicated mathematical definition, but I don't think it's as complicated as it first looks. It's just telling us that it is continuous at A. And here is a clear break in continuity. So geometrically you can think of the graph can be drawn without removing your pen from the paper. Well, why didn't you just say that? So what in the world is he going on and on about? Well, it's been a week, and it seems that the universe is conspiring against me and does not want me to finish this project. So here it stands, or sits, rather. Now, I could have just filmed right over it and you would have never been the wiser. I could have just continued right on with the project and it would have been continuous and you wouldn't have noticed. But that's not how life really is. So I spent the last week with some sort of Spanish flu in my stomach, which was just absolutely awful. And I'm taking a short diversion to make one of those Dremel jigs, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link in the description. Well, it happened again. It's the following day, and what is my excuse? Entropy is always increasing in a closed system, and my house is a closed system. This is the second law of thermodynamics. There's always an increasing number of things to fix as time increases, and such is the joy of home ownership. So let me show you the diversion I was caught into yesterday and why this video has once again become discontinuous. Well, if we have a look up here, we can see that this is just a dust magnet mess, and there was never a bulkhead put here, and it is much better to be something like this, where it's flush. So I spent yesterday building the tops of these other two cabinets flush, and I put 3/8 plywood on a frame and used 6mm plastic with spray adhesive instead of finishing it or using contact paper. I just glued plastic to it. And yes, the pots I've made, I made them on a potter's wheel. I used to do a lot of hand-thrown pottery. Okay, back to this. Sorry, my head is smashed against the ceiling, and this is kind of difficult with one hand. So I ripped these 11/16 pieces of 2x4, and I'm using the little brad nailer to put it right there. And then the 3/8 plywood sits flush right there. So I will finish this diversion, and when it's all done, I will resume the continuity of my original plan. Alright, all finished. And I do not recommend doing it. It's a lot of work. But this will be much easier to clean. And the tops of the cabinets were really greasy. But I'm sure that's because I'm an American, and all we eat in America is fried food. Well, and the occasional fruits and vegetables, as long as they're deep fried. Okay, I'm back at it. But before I can do anything, I have to sharpen my bandsaw blade. And here is the finished jig. You'll notice that I put a screw right through the center of this circle, and that allows me to rotate it. And I marked right here the 0 position. It's really not 0, it's closer to 30 degrees. I noticed that the angle down the center of the Dremel with respect to the tabletop is right around 30 degrees. So this set screw right there can later be adjusted if the need arises. by just pulling it out and rotating to whatever angle the bandsaw blade requires. Well, let's get this finished. Well, I'm very pleased. These curves are exactly as you would expect from a brand new blade. So, my goodness, I definitely recommend making one of these. But unfortunately, I have gained no ground on the video that I'm supposed to actually be filming right now. So, as far as the project is concerned with the bucket lid, I'm going to have to end it here just because it's getting far too long, and we'll have to continue it in part 3 of 2. Have a good day, guys.